How's everybody doing? It's Will, just time prepping. Hey, we're going to talk about why I prep. So, as you guys can see from the background here, this could happen if we were in a Tiawaki situation, or the end of the world as we know it. So, I'm going to tell you why I prep. Hopefully, we won't have to worry about this later, so see you in about that far. Alright, back. Alright, we're going to talk about why I prep, and maybe it will convince you to start prepping, or if you're not prepping already, think about prepping in the future. It's because I want to teach myself and my family or my group how to take care of themselves in an SHTF event. Now, I'm not talking about a zombie apocalypse or even uh, Armageddon thing that most preppers talk about. I'm talking about local SHTF events. We have them all over the world, and we even have them right here in the United States where I live. So it could happen at any time, at any place, at any moment. You just have to think about that, okay? And that's part of the reason I prep, is because you never know. Like where I live here, it's Tornado Alley, that's what they call it. Anytime a tornado could come through here and just flatten the whole town out. I live in a very small community, so in order for me to prepare for that, I make sure that I have plenty of food, water, and shelter, and those are the three main ingredients to prepping. So there are a few other ingredients to it, but that's going to be for down the road a little ways, not for today's video. First one is to have plenty of food. So what you want to do is you want to find a place or uh, invent a place somewhere in your home where you can actually start storing up food. And it's not that hard to start. I mean, I know everybody lives on a budget these days. That everything is kind of hard to make ends meet at times, but actually, it's not that hard. I mean, I live on a fixed income. I'm, as you can see by my gray hair, retired and live on a very limited income. So if I can do it, for sure you guys can do it, okay? All right, so what you do is just start out real small. Start out small, collecting food from like the dollar store or Dollar General, sales at Walmart, whatever, just buy maybe $2 or $3 worth of extra food a week. I mean, you go to the store on an average of 3 or 4 times a month to pick up items, just pick up one or two extra items. Those items go down onto the shelf in your pantry that you have set aside for your preps, what we call preps. So after a while, you'll see that that slowly starts growing. Now, some of the things that you may want to think about prepping for or with, for, for instance, is things like rice and beans, things like instant potatoes, or maybe even some lard, like Crisco or something like that. Little items that don't cost a lot of money, but would be nice to have if something big event happened. Like if a tornado came flying through here and flattened the whole town, we'd be kind of screwed, right? All the people that aren't prepared for something like that, they're going to be like storming the stores, and you're going to find that the stores are going to run out of food in just a matter of hours. That's a proven fact. So you want to make sure that you and your family or your group that you're in has plenty of food. That's why you just buy a little at a time, build up your stores, and before you know it, you're there. If you guys go to FEMA.gov, you'll find out that they used to suggest that you use just get 30 days worth of food stored up. But now, if you go there and look, they want you to have 6 months of food stored up. So we as preppers are always prepared for the worst, so we store 1 to 2 years worth of food. Now, I'm not saying take the food down there and just leave it stacked up, because you and I both know that some of the canned goods and whatnot, they all go bad. So you want to do the same thing that you do in your cupboards at home. You want to kind of rotate them. And at the same time, you're eating the food that you prep so that if SHTF situation were to happen, yeah, you wouldn't be really changing the dietary parts that your body already used to, okay? So that's what you would do. You're going to find out over time that it doesn't take long really to build up a stockpile of food. And there's a list, we have a list back in my library of some of the foods that you need to collect to be able to survive up to a year in a bad situation, an SHTF situation. And so that could be another video, but I'm just saying, for the sake of this video, let's say food would be like rice, beans, instant potatoes, Crisco, honey's a good one, or even those Augustin Farm food buckets. You can store some of those if you don't have a lot of space. Or if you're just starting out, a lot of people will just buy those buckets just to kind of have on hand because those have a shelf life of about uh, 5 to 20 years, depending on what you get. Okay, so those would be something to think about. Okay, so the second thing you want to collect is water, plenty of water. Water is a lifeline to your existence. So it takes an average of 2 gallons of water per person every day to survive. So if you take 2 gallons times everybody in your group, say 4 to 5 people, that'd be like 8 to 10 gallons worth of water a day. Now you take that times 365, or even 2 years, whatever that'd be, six, 7, 800 days, whatever. That's going to add up. So you know you're not going to be able to collect that much water. I myself, I have health issues. Most of you guys know that watch my channel. I have health issues, and it would be hard for me to uh, go out and find a water source. So I actually buy cases of water, and I have them stacked up in my pantry and as high as the ceiling. But that still is not going to be enough. So you really have to have an alternate way of getting water, which would be finding a filtration system that works for you in your area. And that can be anything from a life straw all the way up to a Berkey. And Berkey is a way of filtration, water filtration. So, and there's several filtration systems out there. So you may want to keep watching the videos that we make in this community and find out exactly what kind of filtration systems are available and find one that works for you. So those are things that you need to think about. Now we're talking about shelter next. And shelter is the roof over your head wherever you're at, right? So wherever you're at could be something like home. So you want to make sure that if you're not at home and you're somewhere like at work, or maybe you're across town, or maybe you're out on a trip or something, a day trip or whatever, maybe you're out camping and an SHTF event happens, you're going to want to be able to get from wherever you're at back to your home to check on things there, make sure everything's all right. So what I do is I just keep what they call a go home bag in my car, and it's just a small backpack. It's not a day pack because it has to hold like 2 to 3 days worth of food because you don't know how long it's going to take you to get from point A to point B back to home, right? So it's called a GHB or a go home bag. They have different terms for it out here. And as you watch the videos and stuff, you'll start learning the lingo. So that's something that you need to think about, okay? In there, you want to make sure that you have water, plenty of water, okay? And you want to make sure that you have a change of clothes. You want to make sure that you have a little bit of food in there and a way to cook that food. Now, for myself, I have a little propane bottle in there that will last. If I really try to keep it going, I can make it last a couple of days, just long enough to heat up some food for me to eat. Okay. And then I have just a little bitty stove. I mean, you have to fold it out for it to work, and it screws onto the can of fuel so that I can cook on it. And a can of fuel is probably the heaviest thing I have in my go home bag. So you want to make sure you have a change of clothes. You want to make sure you have some water in there. You want to make sure you have some food in there. You want to make sure that you have a way to either make a fire or create a fire from what you have. That's so you can cook the food that you got with you. Also, make sure you have some snacks in there like hard candy. That's a good way to get some instant energy. Or maybe even some, like they call them, Cliff bars. They are energy bars. You eat them and the chocolate and some other ingredients in there give you a burst of energy so you can keep going. So that would be something to put in your go home bag. Okay. Now, at home, if the event takes long enough, or is way over your head that's bigger than a tornado or an earthquake or whatever in your neighborhood, then you would have to have what they call a bug out bag. That's so that you can take and go from your home out and leave your home and go somewhere else. A bug out. You have to bug out and go somewhere else to live. And that would only happen if you were like a dire situation like well, you could be burned out of your home. California last year proves that. Or we could actually be attacked and have to leave our homes because it was just too terrible. We had to leave. So those would be when you have to pack up, leave everything behind that you have at your home. Most of your preps are going to have to stay there because you just don't have enough room or time to really take them with you. So you create a bug out bag and a bug out vehicle, and you make sure that your vehicle always is stored up with the stuff you need, like uh, food and water, and then your bug out bag has the same thing. But you also want to make sure that you have medical equipment. Medical equipment is important for sure. Make sure you're getting out there and finding some training. Training is all over the place. You can get your first aid or your CPR, either one or both, like I have both. And that way it gives you enough training that you could help yourself, your family, or others in your group if necessary. Now, it's important that you put everything that you need in the first aid kit. Now, I have a video covering that, and it's always important, no matter what you're doing, is to make sure that you are always adding to it and make sure there's plenty of gauze in there because if somebody gets a gaping wound for some reason, you never know. It might happen. It's going to take a lot of gauze to put pressure on the wound to keep stacking it on there until the blood can be slowed down or stopped. All right, now this is running a little bit over, but I want to make sure that you get this covered. But make sure that all these things are in place. The big thing is make a plan. Have all this stuff that I'm talking about, but in order to make it work, you have to have a plan. Now, the plan has to cover everything: the food, the water, the shelter. It has to cover the go home bags, the bug out bags, and everything: the medical, the security, everything. So you have to have the plan, and in order for the plan to work, you, your family members, or your group members, whatever, have to practice that plan. So I want you guys to practice the plan, and that means to make up scenarios or something like that, and go out and practice it. See if you can make it smooth out, make sure everybody knows their duties of what they have to do and stuff. And then when it really happens, it goes very smoothly and nobody really panics or gets out of place or anything like that. So these are all things, and these are reasons why I prep, is so that I can teach other people, my family members, whoever's in the group, how to stay calm and get through the event without really having any issues. So this is getting kind of lengthy here, so I'm going to stop it here. But we're going to have another discussion real soon, okay? So I want you guys to do me a favor, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, do so now. Make sure that you're clicking that bell. Click that bell so that you see any of my videos that I make that sound like they're a good idea. Then you can come and watch the videos and catch some more information. So you guys know I love you guys to death, and I can't do any of the stuff I do without you guys. So as usual, God bless you. God bless me. God bless USA. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you out there.